I made a video yesterday about the transparent society. I just want to pick up on an idea in that and kind of connect it to another video I made a while back on education, the university in ruins, which is the idea that education in a kind of grand sense, and college and university education particularly, are well, they're changing now, but they're going to have to change a hell of a lot more, I think, very soon, because of the changes to society wrought by technology largely in different kind of social formations. I just want to pull out one or two strands from that, really. What I want to start with is education for employment. I mean, there's lots of reasons why a person might want to get educated and why a person might want to go to college or university. Lots and lots of different reasons, not just about employment, but you know, obviously in an instrumental society like we have, getting a qualification so you can get a better job at the end of it is a strong motivator. But I think things have changed. I mean, certainly, you know, certainly when I talk to some of my students, or mostly when I talk about to the parents of some of my students, to be honest, you know, they're very clear about that. That the purpose of education is to gain some kind of vocational expertise, ideally turned into an object form in the form of a certificate or letters after your name or something like that, that you can put on your CV, and then after you've graduated you can send that CV out to employers, and they'll see that mark of approval that the qualification you've gained represents, and that'll feed into your employability, you know, your likelihood of gaining some employment. And that makes a kind of sense, but it only makes sense in a society which is relatively opaque, when people don't have access to one another's expertise, other than through the kind of it's not exactly a rumour mill, but other than through processes of validation, through the passage through institutions and through connections with experts, and all of the kind of not just education but also assessment and validation processes that traditional education structures provide. It is part of that opaque system. But I think in a transparent system, or in a society where we have more availability to one another, that's going to change, I think. And what I guess really crystallised that for me recently was at the place where I work, which is a university. There was a job came up quite recently, quite a high level post at my university. And the adverts went out and there was a shortlist created. I wasn't involved in any of that part of the process, nor was I involved in the interview process. So I didn't get to see the applicants, you know, the application forms that the applicants sent in. I didn't get to see their CVs. I didn't get to do part of the shortlisting process. But I was involved later on, along with a large group of other people, in listening to these presentations. So I was invited to come along to a presentation made by this shortlist of candidates. And a list of the candidates was provided, who these people were. There was, you know, only 5 people, I think, something like that, who were going to present. 2 of the names on the list I kind of knew already, sort of, by reputation, because, you know, Britain's a small country, and academia is a small world, so I kind of knew the 2 of the names already. The other 3 names I didn't know. But within 5 minutes, you know, I just Googled the names, of course, and you pull up huge amounts of information about these people, and information about the people you thought you knew as well. All kinds of different information. Information about their employment, about their qualifications, about what kind of work they've done, about their home life, about their membership in societies and clubs and organisations, about their level of social connectedness, whether they're in LinkedIn or academia.edu, or whether they've got a Twitter feed or a Facebook page. You know, as I say, within 5 minutes you can find out a hell of a lot about those candidates, and to be honest, probably more than I could find out from the CV, because of course I can also access the CVs of at least, well, yeah, most of the candidates that I'm talking about here. I could see what they'd done, because that's available online as well. So again, far more information from a quick Google search than the official processes, because of the transparency of the society that we live in, really. Now, I'm not saying that's good information. Of course, Google has all sorts of crap on it, and it's perfectly possible to kind of poison the well, I imagine, by saying bad things about people. But that's interesting to me, and I think that changes the game in terms of what qualifications are, what constructing a CV is concerned about, what training for vocations are, what training for employment is. Because certainly if we get to a point where instead of sending in a CV, you just send in your name and let human resources departments of employers do Google searches for you, what will become really important at that point is not whether you're able to produce a certificate that says you've spent 3 or 4 years in a college somewhere. What will be important is what your Google profile looks like, what your participation in social networks looks like. That's what will count. What people are saying about you, who you're connected to, what you seem to be capable of in the real world, or at least the real world that Google can access. And I think once that's in place, then the demand for education will be an education to improve your Google profile. And by that I don't mean, tuition in how to get yourself better ranked, or how to make better search terms for your name. I mean, people will look at their search results. This kind of egotistical search thing where you do for your own name. People will look at that because that's what human resources departments of employers will look at, and they'll think, yeah, what I really need in this Google search result is more evidence that I'm able to talk to people. So at that point, you might do some training programs in people skills, or it might reveal a weakness in certain kinds of connection to kind of civic life, so you might go and do some voluntary work, or it might reveal some particular shortcomings in technical skills, so you might go and do that, or it might just reveal a more kind of global lack of information in a whole area, so you might go and do a full university course. In other words, it'll be much more what they tend to refer to as student-centred. It'll be much more driven by the demands of, not the demands of an institution trying to churn people through and stamp them with a particular qualification at the end of it, but it'll be driven by individual need to put together their profile, their public profile, out there in the transparent world that employers or collaborators or funders or sponsors or potential partners, all those kind of people can access. Clients, customers, whoever, audiences. Yeah, hope that makes sense.